Sup snakes! In today's video, we're going to be talking about things you can do specifically in the Las Vegas area as a Fallout fan. What's worth doing, what's not worth doing, and this is going to be part one of different Western locations that are actually in Fallout games that you can go visit, and should you. So be sure to watch 2 of my videos. I'm almost monetized, and let's get into it. Drop that intro. When I say drop that intro, I literally am talking to myself because I drop these intros in real time. All right, y'all. You know me. We Fallout fans up in here. So we're going to be talking about all these different places that you can go to in the Las Vegas area that I have personally been to and can attest to if they're worth it or not for your next trip out west. Now, I personally would not fly Southwest because allegedly they leave you on a plane in 111-degree weather. If you have not seen... Was it Delta? I don't know. One of the be careful about flying to Las Vegas in the summer. Let's just put it that way. Allegedly. I don't know. There's proof out there, but I don't know. Allegedly. Anyway, we have to say that because YouTube. Definitely visit the big ol' Hoover Dam. One of engineering's marvels, the modern marvel of the world. I don't know what you want to call it. It's really cool. Hoover Dam is awesome, guys. It is 100% worth visiting Hoover Dam, and I'm going to tell you why. It is picturesque. It's absolutely gorgeous there. And as a Fallout fan, it is definitely something that is incredibly accurate. Like the game is incredibly accurate to real world Hoover Dam. Which, like, you might not be expecting. You might have expected them to fudge some of the stuff or not be perfect, but damn, they did a good friggin' job, yo. So there's a couple things you can do on Hoover Dam. You could, for free, drive across Hoover Dam, going from, if you see in the distance in this picture here, the Nevada side to the Arizona side. Yes, you can go on 2 different states in the matter of minutes or walk across 2 different states if you choose to walk across the dam because the state line is down the middle. I am taking this picture from the fort, or, you know, where Caesar's Legion is, pointing towards the Nevada side. The gift shop and like where you do the tours is on the Nevada side. And then you can drive through to the Arizona side. There's also a bridge, which you can see here, and that is like how you get to Arizona from the Las Vegas area, or one of the ways. And this is like literally walking. All you could do on the Arizona side is go up to a scenic overlook and go back down. Like, you can't drive anywhere from the Arizona side unless you're on that freeway. That's a little, to this area, the photo right here. It is beautiful, though. Hoover Dam is 100% worth the visit, and I did the power plant tour. There's 2 tours you can do. The dam tour, where they say dam a lot, and the power plant tour, and it's affordable. The power plant tour is a lot cheaper than the dam tour, but I don't even think the dam tour is that expensive when you consider tourist attractions. Could be upwards of hundreds of dollars. This was well under that, and it was worth it because it is an incredibly cool thing to see on the inside, because not only is New Vegas accurate exterior, but it is accurate interior to the Hoover Dam. I'm going to show you some more pictures and tell you what I like about it. So this is, in fact, the time I brought Muggy to the Hoover Dam, or, well, I call him Muggy. He has many different faces. I put the Yes Man face on here while we were there. The water level was a bit higher than the time I was there before that. Don't worry, I'll show you that as well. So that was cool to see, having gone before in the past and seeing the water level incredibly low due to the drought, and then seeing it a bit higher here. And I'm sure it's even higher now since I left, since they've gotten a considerable amount of rain. Now, all New Vegas fans will remember this area if you've done the end game. Yes, this is the power plant area. This is the turbines that our water is going through to create power in the Hoover Dam, which is like one of the biggest points of the Hoover Dam, is creating power and obviously being a reservoir and blocking the flow of water out the Colorado River. Yeah, there's some politics in that one, y'all. We're not going to get into politics again because I don't have time to respond to all your comments, but this is really cool. I don't think this picture quite captures how freaking massive these things are. They're huge, guys. They're absolutely, let me do one where I took it in 0.5 lens. Yeah, this room is like 3, 4, 5, 6 stories tall. I mean, where we're at is probably like 3 stories tall. There's a little overlook. You can see another tourist in this picture. And that American flag is like one of the jumbo American flags in the distance. You can see it. These things are freaking huge. Like, they're really cool. And obviously, this is incredibly accurate to like the interior. New Vegas did this really well. It matches nearly perfectly. And even like at the end, there's the double doors you go through. Even that was accurate. So this is the power plant tour. All you really do is you go down an elevator, you go into a room, you see where the water comes in, you leave that room, and then you go into this room, which is where the power plant actually like is creating power and energy, spinning these turbines, obviously. And that's it. And then you go up an elevator and you're gone. You walk in a lot of tunnels that are dripping with water, which is slightly unsettling, and then you leave. But then there's also a dam tour, which is, I did it as a kid. I don't know if it's much different. I don't think it is, because the documentary they showed us before the tour was exactly the same. That's also part of it. And then you leave, right? The dam tour is a little bit more, but it's not much more. I think this is more like 45 minutes max, and maybe the dam tour is a little bit longer. It's not that long. They're also not that expensive. So if you want to go, if it's just 2 people or 1 person, you're not going to break the bank coming here. And also, like I said, going on the outside is free. You do have to go through like a government facility checkpoint, so don't have anything in your car you shouldn't have. Now, that said, they're not really looking that hard. So like if you're panicked about something in your car, just don't break the rules, guys. Don't bring anything you should cross. You are crossing a state border, so there's that too. You know, a lot of state borders have these like little checkpoints that you're going into a different state. So there's that. Don't do anything you shouldn't be. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, but have a good time here. Again, there are free options here if you don't have the money to pay for the tours. There's definitely free options, and it's super worth seeing. And if you can swing the power plant tour, which is the cheaper and shorter one, you'll see like the main thing that New Vegas fans think about when they think about the interior of Hoover Dam. That's not to say you can't go inside if you don't want to pay. This is actually one of the women's restrooms on the dam itself, which is really cool. And it is exactly one of those towers you can go inside where they have snipers' nests in the game, which is pretty cool. There's a men's and women's restroom, and they're both pretty cool. Very Art Deco, like gorgeous, you know, concerning when this was built, like it is on brand. And this is the view out of one of the bathroom windows, which is a pretty unique view because it's a little bit elevated off the dam. You go up staircase to the bathroom, and you can look out here on this is the opposite side where the water comes out of the dam after going through the power plant, and you see that bridge as well. You can walk on that bridge. There is a path before you get into the Hoover Dam. This is the Nevada side over here, that you can walk up to and get a gorgeous view of the dam. I will say, remember, this is the Mojave Desert. It is incredibly hot here. Bring water if you're going to do this during the summertime. I did it, and I felt like I was going to throw up afterwards. It was a bad time, but it was also a good time because it's really cool. Another free element of the Hoover Dam is you can walk from, like I said, from Arizona to Nevada, and they have these little clocks because Arizona during the fall is on a different time than Nevada is, which is Pacific time, and then Arizona time is its own time during a certain time of year, because they don't do daylight savings. Otherwise, they'd just be on Pacific time. So I'm standing in front of the Arizona clock here. And as you can see, New Vegas does a super good job of being accurate to even these towers that are going into the reservoir side. This is the reservoir side of the dam where the lake is, Lake Mead. Again, here's just another picture of that. Again, New Vegas did a great job, guys. So accurate. The water level's pretty low here, though. So... And if, you know, whether or not you're a New Vegas fan or just a fan of travel, it is an incredibly beautiful drive-in as well. So that's gorgeous. And here's the time before where I was at Hoover Dam. Notice the water is a lot like bluer. It's because it's more shallow. So they have gotten a bit of water since then, but this is a very low water level for Lake Mead. Another free thing you can do is stop at the Scenic overlooks. There's a lot of them in and out of Hoover Dam area, and look at Lake Mead, look at the dam from a distance. These are free and they're really worth it. Like during the summer, it's hot. Bring water, bring sun protection. Super cool to see. And some of these scenic overlooks are also represented in Fallout New Vegas. If you dig hard enough, you can figure out specifically which ones they are, but it is pretty cool. Now we're moving into something I don't think is necessarily as worth it, which is visiting this location. It's just not as cool. This is Lake Las Vegas, which is represented in the game as Camp Golf. There is golfing here, plenty of it. It's kind of like a resorty area, and honestly, I stayed at the Hilton here and it was not that nice, and the Hilton is pretty expensive, and it's supposedly a 4-star hotel. I didn't find it to be that quality, but I guess it's pretty. I just don't think if you're staying on the Strip or if you're, you know, staying in Boulder City or something like that, which is right by Hoover Dam, this is worth a visit. It is a location in Fallout New Vegas. I just don't personally think it's worth visiting unless you want to do like water related sports on the lake, like the jetpack thing and, you know, stuff like that. I personally don't think it's worth it unless you really like resorty community energy and like snobbery. A lot of rich people coming here. Next up, another place I don't think is necessarily worth it unless you want to stay at like a cheaper hotel in the Vegas area is visiting Primm, which is it is a location represented in Fallout New Vegas. However, it is not a nice location. It's kind of a truck stoppy energy. It's right when you get to Nevada as well. I don't really think there's anything worth going to in Primm. Sorry, Primm. Something that is also maybe not worth a stop, but definitely worth looking over as you're driving, if you're driving from California into Nevada, is the solar fields here that are the other kind of solar where they're shining the light, they're focusing the light back at the top, exactly like Fallout New Vegas' Helios 1. I don't think worth driving up. They're blindingly bright, but super cool to see and on theme if you are a New Vegas fan. Definitely worth, like, I don't know, taking a picture from your car. Like if you're going from California to Nevada, you're going to drive by these. There's like almost no way around it. So, you know, take a picture from your car like I did. Next up, we have a stop worth going to in the Vegas area, and that is Goodsprings, Nevada, which is just about 20 to 30 minutes outside of Las Vegas proper. And if you are renting a car, if you're driving to Vegas, it is 100% worth visiting. It's super cool. It's very kitschy. It's very cute. And it is on par with the game, y'all. It is perfect. Driving up, you will get these absolutely gorgeous views. Like, it is so pretty around here. It is very on par with Fallout New Vegas, like thematically. Like, it will bring you that vibe. Start playing Dean Martin. Like, get the playlist going. You're gonna have a good time coming up here. It is hot. Again, I can't stress this enough. In the summer and, you know, in parts of the year before and after the summer, it is very hot. So bring water, bring appropriate skin protection, all that stuff. You'll need it. I don't want you to get hurt, and also make sure your tires can withstand the heat of the roads. We see a lot of people with blown out tires on the way to Vegas in these areas. Be careful, okay? Just full disclosure. This is the cemetery. Unlike in the game, it is not at the top of the hill, but it is next to a little hill that they have in Goodsprings. If you're going into the cemetery, be respectful. I wouldn't personally shoot any skits in there or anything like that, but be respectful. It is a cemetery, you know? So this is the entrance to the cemetery. Obviously very old. Supposedly Goodsprings is haunted, which I believe. It is a very old town, very small and very like cute and kitschy, and you know. So we have the Goodsprings General Store. They'll sometimes have words here like "Welcome, New Vegas fans," things like that. It is pretty cool here, y'all. And when you're rolling up to Goodsprings, you'll get a absolutely gorgeous view of this sign right here. Now, contrary to the hill is like right next to this sign to the right here, contrary to popular belief, this is like not the easiest sign to access. I think people see it online because people like me go up and take pictures, but you do have to pull off the road into dirt. So if you don't have the right kind of car, it might not be easy. You might have to walk a little bit in the blazing heat. So again, I can't stress this enough. Be prepared for the heat. It's the desert. So this gives you kind of an idea. The road is over to the left. Then you have the sign. And I'm taking some content here, obviously, but it is up a little hill. So you do have to do like a little teeny tiny mini hike. You can see where the car is over there. So it's not perfectly flat. Be prepared to be pulled off the road on some dirt a little bit. And then, of course, you must go into the Pioneer Saloon and get some food, get a drink perhaps from there. Super good food, super affordable food and drink. I mean, Nevada overall. I live in California, so shit's more expensive here. Oops. It's more expensive here. But for there, I was like, price is right. I got a couple PBRs when I was there. I had a good time. It's very pretty here. It is a wonderful location to visit. Here I am posed with my little figure in my mom pants here. And the Goodsprings General Store is back to being called a general store. Obviously, New Vegas did a great job. This is very accurate to New Vegas is very accurate to what this looks like in real life. Obviously, it's the Pioneer Saloon. not the Prospector Saloon like it is in Fallout New Vegas. That is just copyright things, you know, things like that. But the Pioneer Saloon is very, very, very aware that they are in Fallout New Vegas, and I will tell you a little more about that. It's pretty cool. Also, before we move on from this, I just want to point out they no longer let you park right in front of the saloon, which I actually think is excellent because cars would block the view. Now you can get these great pictures. The only things that'll be parked right in front of the saloon are motorcycles, because it is a biker bar, a very famous biker bar. It was famous before Fallout New Vegas for being a biker bar. And in Fallout New Vegas, you can see motorcycles in front of it. That's all that can park there now. They don't allow cars to be parked in front of there. As far as I've seen, these like posts are too close together to allow a car, and you can park across the street and walk over, which is great. It's great for pictures. It makes it a lot easier. The Goodsprings Saloon now owns the Goodsprings like general store, and that's like their gift shop for the saloon, but both the employees work at both. Before, it's been like a cafe and other things, but now obviously it is part of the saloon. You enter the saloon through the Goodsprings general store. You'll go into a little outside area. You'll walk through the gift shop. You'll go through a little outside area, and then you'll go into the saloon where you can get food, you can get drink, you can chat with the really nice people there. Most of the locals, super nice, down to talk. When I was there, they had a New Vegas shrine up. I don't know if they're still having that. Clearly, you could see they're also playing the Making of New Vegas video. They have the picture of Easy Pete up there. And you can play there. I left my little orange sticker. That's me. That's mine. You can add stuff to the shrine. You could sign a guest book. There's a lot of cool stuff to do in there. And you can also play Fallout New Vegas. While I was there, I think they'll do it again for the next Fallout event. I don't know if it's currently up, but it was last time I was there. Like, here I am playing Fallout New Vegas in a New Vegas. I'm literally in the building that I'm walking up to in this video in real life playing the game. Like, that's a meta. That's so meta. It's pretty cool. So, of course, we had to snap a picture here. Had to. Also, that Xbox 360 is putting in work. I mean, it is hot in the desert. Like, it was even warm when I was there, and that was in October last time. So good for that Xbox 360. It is putting in that work. I don't know how it is not red ringed of death. Maybe it has since I've last been there, but good for it. Because it's warm, and it's warm in the bar too, guys. So highly recommend visiting the Pioneer Saloon, driving through Goodsprings. The Pioneer Saloon and the Goodsprings general store, as they repainted it back to being what it originally was, which is great. They sell like gifts and things like that. I bought a shirt, I bought a magnet, I bought a bumper sticker for my car, things like that. So you can get all kinds of cool things. Everybody who works there is super nice. The food's pretty good, like really good food actually. When you're spending a crap load of money in Vegas itself, it is nice to go to a place like this and like have something a little cheaper, a little more chill. I got compliments on my tattoos while I was there. You know, I'm inked up a little bit here, so like it was cool. It was good vibes. I liked it a lot. And it's really pretty. Like, it's very pretty desert. If you like the desert and think the desert is pretty like I do, worth visiting. And they don't care, man. I was recording content left and right. They were chill about it. They were like down to talk. People who were like love the game were there. Like it was sick. And you will see other Fallout fans while you're there. So represent, wear something and like give a little key off that you're a Fallout fan. You'll probably meet some other Fallout fans where every time I've been there's been people with Fallout gear on, because it is a destination for Fallout fans for sure. And it is a worthwhile destination in my opinion. And it's a bar. So there's like bar stuff to do. They have live performances. Obviously they have cornhole here and other things like that. Like there's stuff to do here and a nice big outdoor area as well. They even have this like shrine that says all the things that they were in, which was Fallout New Vegas was one of them, obviously. So just like all the things that the Pioneer Saloon's been represented in that time period that it said. Now, obviously, they also have this little representation here, which I think is pretty cool. And this is what it looked like before when it was the Ghost Town Cafe and cars could park. They no longer allow that, which I think is excellent. And it was a really good choice on their part for doing that. And I'm like just walking up to the little placard here. Next up, places that may or may not be worth it if you're a Fallout New Vegas fan to visit. I would say the Bellagio is somewhat New Vegas-y in energy. Obviously, the Ultralux has a fountain in front of it. I do believe that fountain is teensy tiny, but it is representing or representing the Bellagio, which is really cool. This is the view from the Augustus Tower in Caesar's Palace, which is where I stayed part of last time I was in Vegas. And this was, we got to watch the fountain like all the time in our room, which was pretty cool. They do like their big shows throughout the day. Then after a certain point, they just do like smaller things without like the music and everything. It's just like a fountain, so there'll always be something to see. The Strip is really cool, but it is an adult area. Like, let me be clear. I know people love to say that like Las Vegas is family friendly. I don't think Las Vegas is family friendly. I'm going to just put that out there. That might be controversial. Las Vegas is not family friendly. There are places that market themselves as family friendly, but that doesn't prevent the other element of Las Vegas coming into those places while, you know, after they've imbibed or whatever, or continue to imbibe. It's not a family-friendly city. In my opinion, I went as a kid and I saw some things I shouldn't have, and that kind of stuff is still happening. People passing out the pamphlets. I can't describe much more of that, as well as other things like there's rats running around the city, you know? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want a toddler running near like a literal massive 1-foot rat, like on the strip. I've seen ginormous Las Vegas strip rats. I just don't personally think it is family friendly. So if you have a family and you're going to Vegas, make sure you stay at a family friendly hotel, but also be prepared for a lot of not so family friendly elements of Las Vegas. I don't personally think kids should be in like most of Vegas. I know that there's hotels with pools. Maybe that's more the place for you, and they're not going to allow you to on the gambling floors with kids for the most part. Like I don't think it's allowed legally. They come around and check your ID pretty consistently. So you also have to be over 21, which is important as well. But if you're an adult and you like having a good time, the Las Vegas Strip is amazing. Caesar's Palace is definitely one of the hotels that is cool. They obviously have a lot of Gordon Ramsay stuff in Caesar's Palace. I do think it's kind of Fallout-y themed, obviously, because it's, you know, Caesar. Like, I think there was intention in that, in putting him in the game, and also Caesar's Palace being a long-standing hotel in Las Vegas. I will say I did get groped while I was in Caesar's Palace. The staff was really nice about it. They kicked the guy out who did it. He was on a rascal, so he literally rolled up to me, groped me, and then parked his rascal right behind me and then would not move and was very intoxicated. And I was like, what do I do? The hotel kicked him out, which was nice of them, I guess. I don't think he should have been let into the bar I was at. But yeah, so, you know, maybe not the best location for families, even though technically a family could have gone in the area where that happened to me. Just saying. Don't think Vegas is family friendly, especially if dudes on rascals are going to roll up and grope random women. The thing. This was like upsetting to me. I know I'm like being kind of jovial right now, but like it was upsetting. I cried after it happened. It was gross. I don't think I've ever been groped in such a way in public by a stranger before. Definitely people I've known, but not like that. So it was upsetting when it happened. Yeah, it was, and then he parked behind me. I was like, dude, no. Another potentially maybe not so worth it location is the Strat. It's not in the nicer area of Vegas. Rooms at the Strat are pretty cheap, but seeing it from the outside is pretty cool. Obviously, it's reminiscent of the Lucky 38. This sign is newer. It's pretty cool. But again, the Strat is not in the nicest area of the Strip, so just keep that in mind. You know, there are bad areas of Vegas. It's a big city, but I think it is cool to see from the outside. If you do at least a drive down Las Vegas Boulevard and stay at whatever hotel you choose to stay at, I think it's worth at least seeing from the outside. It is also something you can see from a distance. This is farther away. This is like the Arts District. Now, of course, we have Old Vegas or Downtown Vegas or whatever you want to call it, but this is more Freeside. It is what Freeside is based off of, and it is cool to see. Definitely a lot of people. There's like a street that's fully shut down that you can walk down, which is essentially Freeside. It's pretty cool. A lot of old neon, a lot of fun stuff like that. The cheaper area has some elements that are, again, not family friendly here, but you know, you'll see your quickie chapels, things like that. Overall, just a pretty cool area. Like, I think it's cool. It might not be for your family. Again, I say that. I stress that it's not for kids. It's not for kids. So I didn't go into this last time, but I have been into it in the past, and I want to be super clear. So, you know, I'm talking about, I spelled it wrong in my Google search, but I'm talking about Fremont Street, which is what Freeside is based on. It is a street that is like shut down and you can walk down. I did have like a little video of the martini here, but it is really cool. It is 100% what Freeside is based on. It has those Freeside elements to it where it's not like, you know, it's not like the high end Las Vegas Strip. It's like the cheap Las Vegas Strip, and it's like Old Vegas. Sometimes it's called that, but it is really cool. They have this like TV panel over the walkway that you can see here that like shows things. They've done zip lining in the past and things like that. It is Old Vegas, and it is cool, and it is so Freeside. And they also have like Vegas Vic the neon guy there, which is pretty cool as well. 100% worth seeing. Again, I don't personally feel like this is family friendly, but this might be a little bit more family friendly area of Las Vegas, but there are elements here that are not for your kids. Again, I stress. Now, when you're on the Strip, you might want to go take a picture at the New Vegas, or I keep calling it the New Vegas, the Las Vegas sign, which is at the end of the boulevard, end of the like populated area before it's shopping. There's going to be a long line, and people's cars do get broken into there. So I don't have a picture of it because I don't personally think it's worth it. And there's a lot of other depictions of the Las Vegas sign that you can take. Aren't necessarily where they are in game, but I think it's a little easier in other areas. If you really want a picture of the Las Vegas sign, which in this image is like far past Paris and the Bellagio and everything going the other way, you could do it. It is there. It is a real location. I don't personally think it's worth it. Next up, this is right near this is like easy to go to for downtown. You can go to the Atomic Testing Museum. They have a lot of cool stuff in here. It is really neat. They also have this like, I think it's the Robbie the Robot or something like that there, and as well as a ton of other nuclear stuff, which is super interesting, especially for a Fallout fan like myself. They have this gigantic thing, which is pretty cool. So if you want to like take a picture near that, it's pretty neat. Okay, and they also have a Fallout anthology, which is pretty cool. I zoomed in pretty hard here because there's a newspaper with a bad word on it that you tend to see in museums that are discussing World War II history in the context of nuclear detonations on certain countries. I think you could guess what that word is. It's a derogatory term for Japanese people. I am choosing to crop it out. I know it's historical. I personally think there's a lot of depictions of this term, and it's used very flippantly by people, and I have seen it used flippantly in the past, and it is upsetting. My husband is Japanese American. It's something he's been called in his lifetime, and I personally am not a huge fan of seeing it, but you do see it at every single nuclear museum, anything to do with World War II, you will see it everywhere. It gets old. The reason I'm bringing it up here is because I had to zoom in on this photo, and the newspaper behind me has the word in it. Yeah, it is what it is. There was also a guy taking like 50 pictures of this newspaper while I was there, and it was a little weird energy. But they do have the Fallout anthology mini nuke here, which was pretty cool. It's just unfortunate that it was next to that newspaper with that word on it. I think it's pretty cool. They actually have a lot of Fallout themed stuff in here, along with a lot of other, that word is throughout the museum. I'm going to be real with you. It is everywhere in the museum. If that's something that is hard for you to see, if it's triggering for you, perhaps avoid that museum. Again, within the history of World War II with nuclear testing, which occurred outside of Las Vegas with where the bombs were dropped on, it's a strong possibility of seeing it. So I think that's something we're all aware of if we know history. I just wanted to throw that out there, that you are going to see a lot throughout this museum. Yeah. That's not to say we did not have a good time at the museum, because we certainly did. It is a really cool museum. They also had a chunk of the Berlin Wall, which we thought was kind of random. I mean, it has to do with the Cold War, so I guess it's relevant. Because, Cold War, if it ever became a hot war, it would have been using nuclear weapons, et cetera, et cetera. It's something that makes sense. However, was random. I don't think I'd ever seen a chunk of the Berlin Wall before, other than my history teacher in high school, passed around a tiny piece he had. So this was cool to see, but random. Then, of course, you could pose next to a myriad of nukes, a lot. Here is my husband posing next to a nuke. This was during the pandemic, if you're wondering why we're still masking in these pictures. A lot of nukes. It was a lot. It was cool, but there were a lot. I was like, are we getting what's happening? I'm curious. Bring a Geiger counter into this museum and let me know. Speaking of Geiger counters, they have a crap ton of them. And a literal, actual mini nuke, which was cool. A real one, not the fake one from literal, actual mini nuke right here. Kind of cool. They also had a little 2-person projection area with atomic history, which was very Jurassic Park themed, the little movie they show. And my husband and I we're the only people here. Don't worry. We weren't interrupting anybody's show. We took some fun pictures in the green light. One of the guys, the docents at the museum, insisted we take this picture, which we didn't necessarily want to take the picture of with this particular nuke. You can probably guess why, but we did take this picture. It is cool to see in person. It is definitely something that's, it's interesting to see these things in person when you know the history of them. as like Fallout fan, both of us are Fallout fans. It's interesting and fascinating to us, but then there's also elements of like the rough history of nuclear power and nuclear energy, and the people that it affected is throughout this museum. Obviously Japanese people, and it does delve into quite a bit like how it impacted local Native Americans in this region where they tested nuclear weapons, which is right outside of Vegas. Like they tested nuclear weapons there, like above ground testing before they stopped doing above ground testing. And this museum does a really good job of talking about all that, and it's very fascinating. I think it's easy as a Fallout fan to like forget about that history of it, but there is that strong history of it, and I think this museum did a really good job addressing it. So if you're into history, if you're into Fallout, definitely a good museum to check out. It's thought-provoking, and it's like hard to go to, but also really fascinating. So, you know, nuclear energy, nuclear power, nuclear weapons, very loaded, right? They also had like a ton of nuclear themed products, and I actually have this cocktail. Should I do a series of making the atomic cocktails from this? There's not that many atomic cocktails because it's also just a regular cocktail book with other, you know, non-atomic themed cocktails. But I kind of want to do it. You guys want to see that? Would that be fun for YouTube? Let me know. These little teddy bears, which I think Fallout 76 is referencing, I'm convinced of it. I don't care. I'm pretty sure. And the last location that I'm going to cover in this video, because it's getting long, that I think is 100% worth visiting if you are a Fallout fan, especially if you're already going to go to Goodsprings, this is not far from there, is Nipton, which is actually in California. The map around Vegas is interesting. Remember, the bottom of Vegas is kind of pointed. So like you can go in and out of California pretty consistently when you're driving around there. This is a notable destination because they do have a lottery there. And I think that's really funny to consider as a Fallout fan because, you know, like the lottery, who won the lottery? I did. Yeah. So that lottery is there. And I think that's very funny because obviously, you know, we have that element in the game. Why is there a lottery there? Because Nevada, the state, has no lottery. So they sell lottery tickets there because you're in California. So people in Nevada can go buy lottery tickets. This is probably one of the more near towns they can go to get lottery tickets because they don't sell lottery tickets in Nevada proper. Why? Gambling. It would be competition for the gambling, right? So they, of course, have this sign that appears in the game. My lips are so chapped in this picture. This sign did get burnt, much like my lips. And it is pretty cool. It's kind of a ghost town, so there's not a lot to do there, but the locals are very nice. And it is very, like Fallout is on brand. They did a good job here as well. So a little bit of a newer sign. We don't see either the first sign I showed or this one here in the game, but it's still cool. And then, of course, you have the Nipton Trading Post. Nipton is just cool. It's a tiny town. If you're going to go to Goodsprings, I think Nipton's worth it. There's not much to do there. You can buy lottery tickets and meet like the one dude who runs the little shop there. But yeah, it's not a lot to do there. However, I do think it is worth it. It is cool and it is a very beautiful landscape. Yeah, so that's it for today's video. There is so much to do in the Vegas area if you're a Fallout fan. There's also things to do outside of Vegas, which I will be covering in a later video that are not like within, you know, half-hour Vegas like all of these are. There's even more. So we'll cover that in another video down the road, but let me know which location you want to visit in the comments. Don't forget to watch a couple of my videos. Thank you for getting to the end of this one. You just gave me a half-hour watch time. I love you. Have a safe and wonderful day in the wasteland, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace.